Hey guys, and welcome to today's live stream. My name is Alex for all of you who are here for the first time. If you are here for the first time, make sure to check out the YouTube channel Alex on Design. And if you watched the previous stream previous week, then you already know what we are going to be doing. But if not, let me walk you through. And first of all, hey everybody who is in the chat. Hey Komal, hi, UI UX design tips and reviews. Let me know where you guys are coming from and let's get started. So previous week we did this. So we created this paper wireframe using Inception design system template that comes within it with all of these dot grids, and we simply included it in Adobe Xd file, and then we created a wireframe for our website page, which we finished previous week with some technical difficulties. Thank you, Kamal. You are really great too. So let's get started. So here is what we've done the previous week. This is the Inception design system. And if you're not familiar with Inception design system, in the previous week's stream, I talked all about it in depth. In this week, I'm not going to cover it, but there is a link in a chat for the full course. And you can, of course, watch the previous week's stream to get to know Inception design system a little bit more. This is what it's called master file, with all of the files, all of the designs, all of the templates, atoms and molecules, flowcharts, everything which is on display. And inside of the light file, there is not all of this on display, but rather, as the name suggests, you're going to get a really light file, which is going to be pretty easy for you to design because you have all of this empty space. But in the previous week's live stream, I wanted to show you that it's possible in this file as well. So let me quickly zoom in just to show you what we did previous week. So here is that paper wireframe which I just showed you. I simply took a photo with my phone and drop it into the Adobe Xd. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if the music is too loud. Let me know if everything is all right before we move on. And then we created this. So I was using elements from the design system to create this page. So you can see it's on the 8-pixel grid. And we simply created all of these placeholders just like any other wireframe. And in today's episode, we're going to change all of it. We're going to create design. We're going to add a few different colors, icons, images, and stuff like that, just to spice it up a little bit. And then hopefully in the next week's live stream, which is going to be final one for this series, we're going to introduce some animations. For example, hover for the buttons. We're going to introduce some entry animation on point. We're going to maybe I'm going to show you how to use animated icons which come with Inception design system to further spice up your design a little bit more. So how we created this, just a quick reminder. You have all of these components right here. You have all of these templates and these flowcharts. So right here you have your grids, you have your typography, you have your colors, logos, you have your buttons, fields, inputs, accordions, images right here, blobs, these devices, and so much more. Then right here you have all of your flowcharts, and you have all of these papers, which is what I showed you about the dotted grid paper. You can simply switch it on right here, and you can watch the previous week's episode if you didn't know how to do that. And then finally here we have templates in 3 different sizes. We have desktop, tablet, and mobile. And of course, these are called large, medium, and small in terms of grid sizes. So basically that's it for now. Let's get started and let me quickly show you what we are going to be doing. So before we do that, I want to show you all of the elements which I'm going to be using today, and you can find them on this page, which is on Envato Elements, and you can get it, link is in the chat. If you want to follow along using these exact elements, you can see we're going to be using some icons. Here we are going to be using some mockups, but I'm going to be stripping all of these and just using regular cars like you see them right here. And the benefits of using something like this rather than just blend image is with just a single click in Adobe Photoshop, you can change the original color of these cars, and you can maybe match them with the brand. Perhaps you can even use them as intended as mockups, and then simply slap an image to the side, slap your client's logo or something like that. Then perhaps you can position them in some sort of a nice looking background, all of these things. And then here we have electric SUV, which is Tesla Model X, and this one is 3D, so I'm just going to simply rotate it, choose an angle which I really like, and then simply download it as a transparent PNG, which is great in my opinion, just to spice things up a little bit without going into trouble about copyright infringement if you're using real images from the website of the manufacturer, for example, or something like that. Finally, we are going to use this logo. I already prepared all of these files. I'm not going to bore you with taking these into Photoshop. These are just plain mockups, and I simply exported them, and I'm going to show you how to put them inside of our design. Finally, we have all of these icons, and I used AI icons, so Adobe Illustrator icons, because they work natively inside of Adobe Xd. You can simply drag and drop them inside. They work just fine. Finally, we have all of these images inside. So basically that's it. Let's get started. It's a little bit blurred. What is, Kamal? What's blurred? Just let me know in the comments. So as I said, let's get started, and the first thing I'm going to do is simply duplicate this artboard, because I want to keep this wireframe and I want to use this as my design. So the next thing is to switch to layers panel right here and to select something from it, and I'm going to hide our columns. And if I simply show you our columns, this is how they look like. You can see them right here, but I'm going to hide them for the purposes of this tutorial, just so they are not distracting us in any way, shape or form. So here we have all of these elements, and as I previously showed you on Envato elements and that collection, there is a link to the collection in the chat once again. So you can click on that link, you can access that collection if you want to. If not, you can use your own assets, as I said. So first things first, what we're going to do is I have all of my assets in my folder, and I'm going to show you that folder. So here are all of the assets which I'm going to be using and all of these icons. So I'm going to simply drag and drop them inside. So let's see, first of all, we have to use our logo. So here is our logo, and I simply exported all of these assets from Adobe Xd as SVGs, because that way they are not going to lose quality. You can see when I zoom in all the way nice and close, they're not going to lose any quality because they are SVG. They're really light in file size, and that way developers can even extract bits of code from this SVG and use them in their own projects if they want to, and inside of the code. So I'm going to drag this in. Actually, you know what, I'm thinking how to do this and what's the best way to approach this. Maybe I should drag all of these inside as we go along. So let's see, we have logo with text right here, so I'm going to position it right here. So this is our default logo, and what you can do with this one is you can actually drag this right inside of here. So here we have our main logo, which is just a watermark or logo mark, and here we have the text on the right side and we have the text below. So you can simply combine them and do with them whatever you want, and then they're going to update in real time. But for this example, just not to lose any time, I'm just going to drag and drop all of these elements inside. So I'm going to drag this in, position it right around here maybe, then put my logo here, place it right around here maybe, and then select my nav BG and simply click right here to put them in the center like so. And finally, I'm going to remove my old logo. Let me check the chat. You guys are all right? Okay. Let's see, is everything working correctly? Yeah, everything is fine. So just let me know about the music. Is the music too loud or is it good? And we are going to leave these, and these have a preview. So let's actually, I don't know, should we change the name here? So let's call it a design, maybe design, like so. And what we can do next is maybe we can adapt this image. Maybe I can hit, you can see right here, because we are using the instance from this main component, which is the image, large 6 columns. So I'm going to click right here, and it's going to take me to my main component, which is this one, and it's going to show it right here. So I'm just going to simply hide this image, and it's going to hide it throughout our design system, including right here. So why I'm going to do this is just because to speed things up just a little bit, and we have these images right here. So if I select just one of them, row, we have car card, image large. Let's actually, you can do it right here, but I'm going to edit it right here inside of the main component itself. So I'm going to show it, hide it like so, and then jump back to our design, and you can see that all of these images are hidden. We also have these ones right here. So while we are at it, maybe we can do the same. So row, block card, like so, default state, like this, and I'm going to simply hide it right here. like that, and going right back, you can see that we don't no longer have that image icon right here. So what I'm going to do next is actually I'm going to drag a bit of background right here. So I'm going to come to my design and I'm going to go to the top and select my rectangle and, for example, do something like this. Then I'm going to come to my colors and let's see, maybe we can use this marble color. I think it's good. Something like this. And then I'm going to position it roughly where these meet. So in the center of these fields, like this. And then I'm going to right click, send to back. It's going to shove it all the way back. And let's see if I select one of these. Yeah, we are in the center of this, which is what I wanted in the first place. So let me select it and let me remove my border color like so. That way we are just going to give it a bit of distance between all of these items. Now we no longer can see this image, which is fine. But what I want to do right here is simply drag and drop this PNG inside like so. So this is the PNG which I was talking about, that Tesla logo. So what I can do at this point is I can open up my layers panel and I can select my image. So let's see it, it's this one right here. Yep. So I can drag this Tesla inside. I can cut it. So Control or Command X, jump inside, Control V, paste it inside, and there we go. And then I can place it and position it however I want inside of my image, roughly around here maybe. Maybe scale it down just a touch to somewhere around here. I think that's fine. And that way it's going to stay inside of that image. Then you can manipulate it if you want to, and you can do with it whatever you want. But I'm actually going to take it out. So select it and I'm going to hit Control X, Control V to paste it in, and I'm going to actually delete this background image because we are going to in just a few seconds add a blob right here in the background. And before we do that, I'm going to come right here to my logo. I'm going to select this element by using Control click. Then I'm going to jump inside, and then I'm going to simply click right here to add this orange color in. Now I can change this color if I wanted to, but it's just going to change all of the orange instances throughout my design system, which is not what I want. I simply want to add my new color, and because this is, I named it car line, so I'm going to right click and simply click car line. Check right here if everything is all right with the chat. It is. So rename car line orange like so, and that way we can apply it wherever we want. Now let's go back to here. I wanted to add that blob, if you remember. Komal, can you let me know what's wrong and what's going on? Just let me know in the chat. Thanks. So as I said, we have done that, and now let's find right here inside of atoms and molecules. I'm going to come to the blobs, and you have all of these different blobs right here. I'm going to use, for example, I don't know, blob number 10 maybe. Simply place it right around here. And then just so we can see it, I'm going to select that color. And I'm going to, for example, select it, maybe rotate it around just a little bit. But I'm not really a fan of how that looks like, so maybe I can choose blob 11, just drag and drop it in place. There we go. I like this one much better. Let me change the color to our orange, and let's drag this orange color in right here with our main colors. And let's see, let's rotate it a little bit, perhaps like this or like this. Let's see. Yeah, maybe something like that. And then I'm going to simply scale it up a little bit. Go right here, send to back. So send backward. There we go. It's just behind our Tesla. So I like how that looks like, and I think that's fine. But for now, I'm going to click right here and I'm going to bring this down in opacity. So I'm going to actually lower it down a little bit like so. And then it's going to have exactly the same opacity as our background, and it's going to have the same color as our background. So basically what you can do in this case is, if you want to make this logo sticky, So basically when you start scrolling down, the logo is going to stick. Then I would recommend something either white like it was, or to use something like a blur effect or something like that. But in this case, I think this is just fine because we're not going to basically experiment too much with this. So I have design which I already prepared previously. So I'm just going to take the copy from it and not bore you here too much. So come here, I'm going to paste this in like so. And now let's work on these ones. So I'm going to jump in, select my icons. So let's see, we have brand, location, price range, and field type. Here we are. I'm just going to drag and position them right here, maybe like so. Jump back to my layers panel and let's see what we can do with this. So I'm going to select all of them like so. Now let's actually close our nav because we don't need it anymore like this. And I'm going to actually organize these just a little bit. So we have these selectors. Let's check the chat. Yeah, yeah, I forgot to mention because we are running on Behance as well. So if you want to watch this or future streams on Behance, make sure to check for Web Donut, which is my brand and brand page. So we are streaming on Behance there instead of my personal profile or instead of Alex on Design like we're doing on YouTube. So just a note there. So if we go back to here, what I want to do is, let's see. So we have these selectors. And I'm running into the same issue like I did on the previous week's live stream. So let's actually copy all of this text before we start working with these images. So let's see, paste it in. And I'm going to basically copy all of my text in like so. And I didn't want to bore you guys too much with writing all of this. I think it's much faster like this. So you can just focus on how to change all of these things inside of the Inception design system. We are going to change these logos in just a second. So let's go further. We have trending new cars. So I'm going to select this and we're going to change these when we get to them. So let's see, let's go to the next section, what customers are saying. And we need to select this. Let's say 24 regular, and I'm going to extend this obviously to right around here. And perhaps we can move this a little bit, maybe move this a little bit. And I'm going to select the name for our customer. Like so. Then we have from our blog, like this. There we go. And then what I'm going to do before is I did this previously on the last live stream, but I wanted to make them a little bit smaller. So you can see it's 32 bold. So what I'm going to do right here is jump into 24 for each of them. So simply select them and make them smaller like this. 24, this should be bold like this because this is headlines, this is body, bold and regular obviously. So I'm going to jump in right here, then select this one, paste it in. Let's see, select this one, paste it in. Oh. Like so. And finally we have this one, which is dealerships are changing. So the whole point of this is just to speed it up and not to run into technical difficulties like I did previous week. So that's why I'm doing this right now. Let's note this, okay. So, and finally, this last one. Like so. And here, because we have all of these dates are the same, so this is going to be 7, this is going to be 8, this is going to be 9, like this. And finally, this is going to be 10. There you go. So this last one is the oldest, and then goes 8, 9, 10. So the 10th one is the newest one, or more recent one, I should say. Then finally, what we can do right here is we can change this as well. So we have cars, and then we have, let's see, dealers. There we go. On this one, we have loans, like so, and about us. About us. There we go. Now let's get back to our design, and I'm going to deal with all of these a bit later. So let me quickly check the chat. Everybody all right? You guys went awfully quiet in the chat, so hope everything is okay. And you guys are good? Yeah, okay, let's continue. So what we're going to do next, as I said, is I'm going to jump back and include these icons for brand, location, price range, and field type. These icons are right here where they are, content. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control K on these ones just to create components from each of them. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. We're running a bit slower once again with our machine, but hopefully it's going to work out fine. Because I did some things from last week, which some of you have recommended. So I'm going to delete them from here because I'm going to be using my main components for all of these. So I'm going to jump inside. As you can see, we have main selector default medium, text with icon, so everything is organized. And here we have a brand icon, so I'm just going to place it right inside, like so. It's going to replace it, select it to be blue, and then do the same right here. So I'm going to click to the selection, jump inside, there we go. This is location, there we go, location. Simply hover when you see this blue outline, then it's going to change its color. Then we have the price range, so let's work on that really quickly. So let's select it. I was waiting for it, but I didn't select it, so price range icon, drag and drop it inside, there we go. Wait for it to replace, there we go. I'm not really in love with these icons which I have chosen. I would perhaps go with other icons, but I just wanted to show you for this live stream what you can do with different icons, and I just chose these ones just to show you how they look like. Hi Kilo Gamer, I hope you are fine, and thank you for watching this stream. So there we go, we have all of these icons. Now I need to fix these. So buy or sell cars, easy financing, and quality dealers. And we are not going to actually animate any one of these drop downs because we are going to do that next week. And for now, I think we are fine. I don't really like how this looks like. Maybe we can fix it to 40 or 80 or something like that. At 100, I think it's too strong, but let's leave it like this for now. So next point of call are these three icons. So let me grab my folder. So we have buy or sell cars. There we go. Easy financing and quality dealers, like this. So I'm just going to drag and drop them inside of my document. Locate where they are. Here they are. So buy or sell cars. As I did previously, I'm going to create a component for the exact same reason. I'm just going to replace it. And you're going to notice that these are 24 by 24 because the entire design system is on the 8 pixel grid. So it's much simpler to have all of your icons be exactly the same size. But if you don't want to do that, what you can do is, for example, if you're placing illustrations instead of these icons, then you can do that. So illustrations are obviously going to be much bigger, so you can simply change them if you so choose. So we have buy or sell cars, so this is the icon for it, like this. And same like we did with the previous ones, I'm going to switch the color. Then we have easy financing. Let's select that, so it's this one with the keys. Oops, I went ahead and selected the icon inside. So you cannot select the content of the icon, you have to select the icon itself because the icon has the frame around it. And basically, when you select the frame, you're going to select the entire icon. And that's the whole point, not the content inside of the icon. Like you see in this case, I just selected the frame and not the content inside of the frame. So quality dealers, there we go. And finally, let's give it the same blue color like we did. There we go. We're going to work on the spacing maybe this week, maybe next week. I'm not really sure, but let's wait and see. So now let's organize this mess a little bit. So we have our content, we have our selectors, then we have our section title, which is this one. So perhaps maybe I can group all of this content at the top and perhaps call it, I don't know, maybe hero section. So select this and select our selectors, because basically this part of the design is already being completed. Let me check the chat. Kamal says it looks a little bit blurry, but from what I can see, it looks just fine right here inside of the preview, because I'm watching the preview as I'm talking to you online. So I'm not really sure what you mean by blurry. Perhaps you are annoyed by the 8 pixel grid, maybe because of that. Can you see it better now? Maybe that's what was bothering you. But I have to use 8 pixel grid because of the snapping point. But perhaps I can change it to square and then lower it down. Maybe I can do something like this to 20. Is it a bit better now? Just let me know in the chat. So as I said, I'm doing this because the entire Inception design system is built on the 8 pixel grid, and these are these squares that you see. So 8 by 8 basically, and that's why you can see all of that. So selectors, nav, control G, let's group it, and let's see, let's call it hero. Yeah, just let me know, is it better now? So now we can work on these. So now that we finished this, let's work on our logos. So we have our section, we have our features, which are these ones, and now we have our partners. So last time that we did this, previous week, I told you that you can edit all of these, and basically you can simply jump inside. You have this Google. It's going to scale just a bit because we have all of these spots. So when you are selecting all of these spots, make sure to scale them evenly, and in this case they are not going to work, so you have to put group inside of a group inside of a group, and then when you scale them they are going to work just fine. So basically you have to put all of these inside of the group and yada yada. So the better way to do this is to actually export them and then re-import them again as SVGs if you want to scale them and position them up a little bit. And this Porsche one has this color, so on P, O, and R it has this color. So when you scale it, you are going to notice it's a little bit weird, but once you adjust it, actually it's going to work just fine. So what I'm going to do, and what I did, is I exported all of them. So let's see, I included Mercedes, Porsche, Tesla, Audi, like so. I'm going to drag and drop them inside of here, as you can see. So now let's organize them, and I'm going to actually put them like this. So let's see, maybe Tesla, no, maybe Mercedes can go first, right to here. And at this point, I will have to bring in my columns like this. So Mercedes can go to here, which is fine. So 3 columns wide. And then Porsche can go to here. So let's see, something like this. There we go. Then I can bring in my Tesla logo to make it all German row, because these are obviously German manufacturers. And I'm going to place it right around here. So let's see if that's good. Let's see if we are snapping to our grid. Now we are. There we go. And what I'm going to do is actually, I don't know why it renamed Porsche into this. Who knows? So let's take this. Let's inside, rename it Porsche. Let's organize them like this. And let's make sure they are in the center. And now what I'm going to do is nudge them actually, so they are in the center of these logos, like this. And then I'm going to remove all of these logos, like so. There we go. So now that the partners are completed, we are going to start working on these trending new cars. So before we do, let me hide my columns so you can see them a little bit better. You can see how much better they are now once they are enlarged a little bit. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to create a design right now, but I would usually do it the other way around. I would usually start with the component and then duplicate that component throughout my design. Actually, yeah, actually, let's do that. Let's do that. So I'm going to come right here, close my footer, close my testimonial, close my blog articles. So where we are now is with these design cards, so car cards. There we go. So I'm going to take this first one and I'm going to hit Control K to make it a component, like so. And then because if you remember from the previous episode, we are using a stack right here with 24 distance for our grid. So I'm going to edit this first one and then I'm going to make a bunch of copies and then edit all of these copies. And finally, we are going to deal with the animation in the next week's episode. So to get started, first of all, what I'm going to do is select this image right here. I'm going to come right here, make it completely white, just to stand out against our light gray background just a little bit. Then I have my images, so I'm going to drag and drop it right here. So I can do actually, no, let's position it outside because I want that white background. As you can see, it's quite big, but don't worry about it. We're going to fix it and scale it down in just a second. So something like this, and then I'm going to fix it from this side as well. There we go. I'm going to position it roughly around here, and then I'm going to change the pricing, obviously, because this is going to be a much expensive car, something like that. It's not Mercedes-Benz, it's BMW. So BMW M8 competition, like so. And the location for it can be, for example, London, UK, like that. And now that that's done, I can close it and I can jump in right here. I can unzoom a little bit and remove these two cards. And now that that's completed, I can jump inside of here and simply duplicate these ones, like so. Go to my row and just make sure that my stack, instead of 10, which is by default, is 24, like that. Then finally, because here with the car cards, we have the stack as well, but just in another direction. And you can see it's still 24 like so. So I'm going to delete my bottom row like this. And I'm going to jump to my top row, hit Control D. It's going to duplicate it. And then here in the car cards, I'm going to select, instead of 10, I'm going to jump into 24 like so. So now let me check my original design just for the direction itself. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is place these other images inside. So I'm going to jump straight to this one. And I'm going to drag another image like this. I'm going to jump to this one. Let me see what's next. And I'm dragging another image like so. And then you can reorganize these images if you want to, but I'm not going to bother in this live stream. So this one, and then let's choose, let's say this one, like so. And finally, good old-fashioned golf. So now at this point, what I'm going to do is simply select all of these names, because it's much faster like this than to type all of them in. Let's see here, I'm going to take this pricing. So let me know in the chat, Komal, if everything was fixed. Is everything working as it should? Just let me know. But I believe that what you saw are just those grid lines, so nothing too major. Let's see. Yeah, so I had this issue last week where my XD just frozen for some whatever reason. So with this, something like this. Come on. There you go. For the pricing. Let's change this up a little bit. I wanted to include electric car here as well, just because they are the rage of the moment. Everybody's talking about electric cars. So let's go with Skoda Octavia here. Like this. And finally, little Volkswagen Golf. There we go. This is the 7th one, not the 8th generation, because I couldn't find the mock-up basically. So let's actually go ahead and change these locations a little bit just to make it a little bit different. So Rouge, Paris. So we are Rouge again. And here we can leave it at London, London. So there we go. We have row 1, row 2, and then wait a second. So I accidentally, for whatever reason, changed this. So let's select it and go back to our BMW. Where was it? Here. Let's see. So 900 to be BMW M8 competition. I think so. There we go. And now if I select that one and click default state, it's this one. So I actually replaced the rows, but it doesn't really matter. Car is a car anyway, so we can always do that later. And as I said, in the next week's episode, we are going to add all of the hover states to our button. We are going to add hover states to these cards. So we are going to spice them up a little bit and make them look even prettier. I'm going to add some color overlays or gradient overlays. I didn't decide it just yet. And inside of those overlays is going to be animated icon, which is going to play on point. So as I said, for today's live stream, we are going to focus just on the design, just on these changes. And perhaps in the next week's episode, maybe we can add some shapes in the background just to spice it up just a little bit more. So here I'm going to add this image. So we have customer image. There we go. And basically that section is done. And here I'm going to actually add animated icons in the next week's episode. Here I'm going to add this image. Here, let's actually change it a little bit, just position it. Okay, so here, let's see this one, like so. Here is for the charger. I'm going to do the same, just double click and bring it right around to here, just so the charger is a little bit more visible. And finally here, oops, sorry, I didn't want it to do that, undo. Here, finally, for the dealerships, I want to include this one. Same story, double click and simply nudge it just so that we can see these cars in the background a little bit better, like so. And you can see that the image quality is quite huge. And I have to actually optimize these images, and I'm using something called Riot on Windows. So I'm using that to optimize the images and make them, even though they are huge still in size, they are not in pixel size. They are not that huge in megabyte size. So the original image, let's say this one, the original size of it in megabytes was something like 20 or 30 megabytes. And then when I optimized it, it was just 4. That's good to do because you can then expect XD to work properly. It's not going to lag, it's going to work just fine. And finally, it's going to be better for developers later when they start coding. And finally, at the end, for your client, because Google SEO is going to like this, and search engine optimization in general. All search engines are going to like this. When your images are optimized, they're going to load faster, and your entire website is going to load much faster than if you didn't optimize your images. So that's just a top tip for you right there. What I'm going to do in this one is select it, go to my layers panel, hit Control D. I'm going to duplicate it and call this one, for example, image, like so. And I'm going to jump in and select my image. I have this nice image of car headlights. I'm going to hit 5 to maybe position them to 50% maybe. And then here in the background, what I can do is maybe select the dark or charcoal color. Maybe asphalt, no, charcoal. And then I'm going to select this and turn it into cloud. Yeah, I like how that looks like. It's just going to make it look a bit more promising, and it's going to stand out just a little bit more. So now finally what I'm going to do is jump in right here to the top in our hero section, in our nav, because now we have this logo at the top right here. So this car line logo. So I'm going to hit Control K. I'm going to place it in the components. I'm going to make a component out of it. So sorry, not that one. I actually jumped inside way too much. So I'm going to select the folder logo, hit Control K on that one, turn it into a component, like so. Then I'm going to jump right here to my footer where my Inception logo is. Select that one, jump in right here, find my new logo, drag and drop it in place, like so. I'm going to select this old one and I'm going to delete it. You can also replace it if you want to straight from there, like I showed you with the icons, but however you want to do things, it's fine. This is just the beauty of the design system. So I'm going to place it in the center, and then let's see, roughly, so 32, 20, maybe we can go 24 with 28, something like this. It's going to work just fine. And then finally, I'm going to jump back to my design once again, and I'm going to take the assets from my original design just to speed things up a little bit more. So under cars, we are going to have new cars, new cars. Call this nearly new, certified, and finally used cars. Now, the difference between certified used and used cars is actually quite simple. Certified are usually with the main dealers. So, for example, if the company was using that car, and then the dealer can check it out and see if everything is fine or if something's wrong with it, they're going to replace it. So basically, it's dealer certified that it's going to work, and used cars are basically from regular people like you and me who don't possess any kind of dealerships. We're just there to sell our cars. So basically, that's the difference. And you learn these things if you're not interested in the topic that you do through your research. So you can speak with your clients, you can speak with their customers when you're doing your exploration, when you're doing your competitor analysis, when you're doing your persona research, when you're doing your brand building information, all of these things, then you're going to find out all of these things. And it's going to be much faster and much simpler for you to work if you're not interested in the topic itself yourself. So, for example, I really like cars, and that's basically why I created this design. And I can talk about cars all the time. I can I don't know, go to meetings and stuff like that. But for majority of people, they don't care about cars. So it's much simpler for me to do something like this because I really like cars. I'm going to change this background color to dark, which is the color of my dark mode. And I said in the previous lesson and in the previous live stream and in the course, you can check it out on my YouTube channel. It's free, that we have dark modes for all of these components. So if I select this footer, where it is, Here we go. So it's footer number 4. So basically we have all of these templates because this is big. Here we go. So these are the footers 1, 2, 3, 4. We are using this one, and all of these components have light and dark mode. Basically, this is the light mode because it's by default, and dark mode is going to look just like this color that you see right here, and it's prepared already for all of those components. So let's jump in right here, and let's select our shape right here, this spot, and I'm going to change it to cloud, for example, not completely white. I'm going to change this to cloud as well. Change this to cloud like so. Change this. There we go. About us. There we go. And basically our design is almost finished. Here we're going to change this to, let's see what we can position it at, what I did in my original design. Let me quickly check. So I'm going to copy that as well. To bore you, so Carline Incorporated 2022. So we are going to be using this year. And basically that's it for today's design. Let's quickly recap what we've done because we're already 48 minutes in. So let me unzoom a little bit. And of course, we're going to be working on the spacing. We can do that in the next week's episode. Let's check it out and preview it. So I still think that this orange color is maybe a bit too strong, but perhaps it's good for this occasion. Obviously, we are going to edit this, we are going to work on them, and you can see that hover works just fine. Everything is usable and readable. I like how that looks like. These icons are not the best, I must confess, but we are going to go with them because I don't really want to invest too much time in looking for other icons because they are from Envato Elements. You have millions of different icons, so you can watch and browse there if you want to. These logos are now just fine. You can of course nudge them because as you saw they have this frame inside of them. You can nudge them left and right if you want to make them position a bit better or to add new ones in. We have these cards. As I said, we're going to add hover effects in the next week's episode, and we are going to do the same for these buttons. I purposely didn't want to fit and cram everything into this live stream. So I think everything looks good. This looks good. We are going to add hover and click right here in the next week's episode. This works fine, and perhaps we can even add that right here for the hover, or maybe we can just create these as a components for the links, for example, or something like that, and create them as a hover effect as well. Hover is going to go right here, it's going to go right here, and then finally here is how the footer looks like. I'm really happy with it. It looks just fine, and all of these assets are going to basically stand out against this dark background. So I think that's it for today. I think we did good with no major glitches like we did previous week, and basically that's it for Inception design system and for today's episode. I really hope that you guys liked it. I really hope you found value in it, and you can get the design system links are going to be in the chat, and if you're watching this on YouTube, it's going to be in the description of this live stream as well. Alex on Design is the channel. Let me quickly check the chat once again. So thank you for everybody who was watching, and I hope you found value in it. Music went out for some reason. I don't know why, but it doesn't really matter. I still hope you found value in it. And if you want to get the assets which are used in today's video, once again, links are in the chat for Envato Elements and that collection. I purposely created a collection because that way it's much easier for you guys to access all of these files than to look for them on Envato Elements your own, because there are millions of other resources out there. So as I said, next week we are going to go back to this file, and then we are going to add maybe another copy, but maybe not. Maybe we can cram all of the animations right here inside of this one, and we're going to basically finish up this design. We're going to add animations, transitions, and so much more. Thank you once again for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to check out my other tutorials. Make sure to check out my courses on Alex on Design. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's Alex on Design. And once again, as I said, courses are on alexondesign.com. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for following. And until next time, take care.